The word art defies description. Art refuses confinement to narrow definitions. Grammatically speaking, where do we place art? Under nouns, or is it a verb? Let's see if we can confine arts to humans. What about nature? Is there art in nature? Most of us will agree the human artist pales in comparison with nature.
Nature seems to be the embodiment of art. We can see it reflected in the petals of a flower, veins of a leaf, in the web of a spider, in a bird's nest, in the nebulous cosmos.
Everywhere we see, art abounds.
Art does not only portray beauty, it adds many facets to it.
Let's try taking a look at some of these facets through the eyes of great poets, painters, and philosophers. Maybe we find a definition that resonates with us.
Seneca said, all art is but imitation of nature.
But can we really limit art to imitation? Art is not merely the documentation of images.
Aristotle was probably closer to it when he said, art completes what nature cannot bring to finish. The artist gives us knowledge of nature's unrealized end.
The artist does more than that by adding a dash of magic to reality, making it appealing and palatable.
As Paul Klee remarked, art does not only reproduce the visible, but rather it makes it visible.
It trains the mind through eye and the eye through the mind. Both gain depth in understanding. Is that far art goes? No, it goes beyond understanding. It's not merely the rational understanding of reality. It is what artist wants it to be.
Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind, advised Dr. Sears.
This is what artists do. They express themselves freely. It may be in a scream or a gentle whisper.
Taking this attitude of freedom forward, Vasily Kandinsky dared to paint music, bridging the gap in between two different physical mediums, sound and vision. To see beyond form, to see a musical note in color, that only art can do. Art dissolves boundaries. Language, culture are no barriers to art. An Indian living in Kanpur can still appreciate the enigma of Mona Lisa's smile. Doesn't matter if he knows no Italian.
So is it simply a unifier? Isn't it disruptive?
Duchamp once said, what art is in reality is the missing link, not the links which exist. It is not what we see that is art. Art is the gap.
The viewer may discover in art something different from the original intent of the artist. This gap that exists in between art, artist, and audience that makes it more disruptive, challenging. It is in this fair of unintended outcomes where myths, dreams, and ideas meet and clash, shaping each other. This is how contemporary reality is influenced by art.
Life is art, and art is life, and I never separate it. I will.
Consciously peeling a potato could be art. Simple, everyday course can be done artfully if done with awareness. Imagine the joy it could bring to our daily mundane life.
If I could say it in words, I would have no reason to paint. Edward Hopper.
People who weren't very verbose express themselves through colors.
Painting is poetry that is seen rather than felt, and poetry is painting that is felt rather than seen. Da Vinci.
Can we treat art just as a form of emotional self-expression? It could simply be the articulation of an idea, capturing the fluid life in motion. So when an onlooker looks at a 300 years old painting, the life breaks out of stillness and the moment is resurrected for the audience. It comes alive again. Don't you think abstract definitions, open-ended statements about art comes closer to catching its essence rather than strict dictionary ones?
Learn the rules like a pro so you can break them like an artist. Pablo Picasso.
Art is a rule breaker. Art is a challenge that novelty brings to habit. Art is a desire to break stereotypes, dislodge set mindsets. Art is a challenge to acceptance.
Art is self-selected to journey into the other, enabling the artist to look beyond themselves. So, art's task is to save the soul of humankind, and anything less is like Nero's dithering while Rome burned. These are the words of Terence McKenna.
As humankind becomes progressively self centric, it has turned us into islands with little or no connect. This disconnect creates a world of mutual suspicion, anger, and hate. If art cannot find out the way through this, the way cannot be found.
As an outing of what is inside you, art is a form of catharsis. Dorothy Parker. It is a release of emotion. It is losing ourselves in order to find ourselves.
We tend to associate our expressions with big feelings. That really just depends on who is doing the expressing and what is being expressed. This expression of emotions has been studied by Namberg and Kramer. They looked at the individual's associations with form, color, symbols, and through this association facilitated the individual's self-awareness. An artist, Adrian Hill, gave their work the title Art Therapy in 1942.
Picasso said, art washes away from the soul the dust of everyday life.
At Soul Splash, cozy, colorful corner for art, artists, and art lovers, we will try and do that. Wash away from the soul the dust of everyday life. Soul Splash welcomes you if you would simply like to indulge in the aesthetics of art. You're welcome to hear some art stories.
And for those of us looking for an insight into life as it happens around us, Soul Splash will make it visible.
As we draw, as we paint, we not only see, but see correctly. And that means a great deal more than just seeing through the eye. The eye trains the mind, and the mind trains the eye. For art, just don't reproduce the visible, rather, it makes it visible. Art is powerful even if it is made up. It can and has shaped human consciousness. Art is not the thing, it is the way. Let's take this journey together.
Soul Splash will keep coming back with art trivia, art stories, for parents looking for an insight into their child's mind, for teenagers trying to drop a screen addiction, friends facing emotional challenges, friends challenged with debilitating disease, and multiple such common issues. Soul Splash offers easy art solutions. If you would like us to address any particular topic regarding art, or if in need of personal consult, please contact us at Soul Splash.